Renee Hess is a trailblazer in Black excellence in hockey, becoming a voice for many who may have shied away from the sport. After a eureka moment, after her first kind of Pittsburgh Penguins game and getting a fan moment in the car, she got hooked on hockey and went on to find the Black Girl Hockey Club. And sharing more of her and many other Black women's fascinating journey on and off the ice in her just released book, Blackness is a Gift I Can Give Her, on race, community, and Black women in hockey. We'd like to welcome to our show, Renee Hess.
Hi, Jen.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
It's so great to meet you. Your journey is quite unique and fascinating. Talk about that moment when you first fell in love with hockey. I mean, you're from Southern California. It's got 3 hockey teams, but something clicked in you that made you say, hey, I want to be part of this sport and be part of the community. What was that?
You know what? The first time I even encountered hockey in Pittsburgh, I was curious about it, but it didn't really stay on my radar. But a couple years later, I went to my first hockey game, and being in a hockey arena with all the sights and sounds, the aesthetic of hockey is so fun and exciting, and I was hooked from that moment on. And I soon realized, you know, as I looked around the arena, that I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me, and I was curious about that. And so I kind of went out onto social media and asked the question, where are all the Black girl hockey fans? And thank goodness I found them.
Yeah, and it's quite a journey you've been on to find them, because you even started kind of like these Facebook group chats with other women, and you said they were mostly white women, and you guys would travel together to go to games. And you talk about in the introduction of this book how you went to a game, you were so excited. I think there's a photo of you holding up your sign at the game, you were screaming, and some kind of cis young white male turned around and tried to like shut you down and hush you. And at that moment, from that moment, you just remembered like that was your experience of that game. And how horrible to be robbed of something that's supposed to be that joyous in that time.
You know what? It's funny because I don't often, I even wrote in the book, I don't often reflect on that moment because I focus on the joy of hockey and the joy that I feel when I'm in hockey spaces. But I do remember it. It's in the back of my mind just as a reminder that this space, hockey spaces, were not made for women like me, women that look like me, Black women, queer women, Indigenous women, women of color, Muslim women. And so when we engage in those spaces and when we take up space, we're doing something revolutionary. And so although that experience was a negative experience, I don't really dwell on it so much. I remember thinking, I should say something, but what's the point in engaging in that type of negative behavior? I usually focus on the good stuff. And I remember, even though my team lost that day, as they tend to do when I'm in the arena, sorry guys, I had a blast. And the picture you're talking about wasn't actually from that game. That was from a Penguins game. That was a Dallas Stars game. But there is a picture of me in the book with a huge smile on my face in my Dallas Stars sweatshirt with those guys behind me. In the photo, just having a blast. And as soon as that moment was over, it left my mind, you know, but I do remember it, and it wasn't the first time. Well, it was the first time, but it wasn't the last. And so when those types of encounters happen, I just let them slide down my shoulders, because that doesn't affect me. I'm there just like everybody else to enjoy the game and to have a good time.
And that's your mission, is really to dispel the myth that, you know, Black people don't like hockey, and that there is space for all kinds of people. As much as it is a love letter to, you know, Black women in hockey, it's also to other minorities in sport. You've met Willie O'Ree, Sarah Nurse, a young girl named Lincoln Brown, Storia Tinker. I mean, so many people you've met. And in compiling this book, what have you noticed is the common thread in the story, that the work that still needs to be done?
You know what? The common thread is actually the love of the game that these women have for hockey, because they wouldn't be in that space if they didn't love the game unconditionally. You know, they will go through thick and thin to be in that space and encounter such negativity just as much as they encounter the positivity. And so, you know, what I learned was that regardless of the experiences that Sarah Nurse has had, good and bad, regardless of the experiences that Soraya has had, she loves the game of hockey and she's passionate about bringing it to Black girls specifically. All of the women are that I talk to in this book, and that's really inspiring to me because that's, like you said, that's my mission to make hockey a space for Black women and all marginalized people where they feel that they have access to a game that is, you know, the heart and soul of Canada.
It really is, and you've written it with such honesty and humor. I'm sure many people are going to enjoy it, and I love that you dedicated it to your daughter, Lola, even though she likes swimming more than hockey. Renee Hess, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck with everything, and can't wait to see more from Black Girl Hockey Club.
Thanks so much, Jen.
Thank you.
Have
Take
a good
care.
one.